Welcome to Business Coaching Secrets with Carl Bryan. If you want to attract new high-end coaching clients, fill live events, and build a wildly profitable coaching practice where business owners pay, stay, and refer, you've come to the right place. In this podcast, Carl provides his keys to the kingdom for finding and signing high-paying clients and building the coaching business of your dreams. Here we go.
Hey. Welcome to Business Coaching Secrets. This is Carl Bryan coming at you. And once again, we're extending our interview series, and I got a special treat for you today. We're going to chat to one of our longest standing members, well over a decade. We'll find out that soon. But I have got none other than Mr. John Moore on the horn. He just got back. He was at Cancun for Business Coaching Secrets with us. I'm pretty sure he's made almost every Business Coaching Secrets. There might have been a COVID one in the middle there where he missed. But let me just tell you really quickly about John. He attended West Point. He is a very decorated member of the Army. He graduated as a second lieutenant in 1982. He's an airborne ranger. He's done 4 combat tours, including 2 by parachute jumps into combat, no less. Straight. If doesn't sound straight out of the movies, I don't know what does. John also suffered a traumatic brain injury during his last tour in Iraq when the operating base was hit by nearly 800 rockets over a 7-week period. He served on 4 continents over the course of his service. He's a retired colonel. He retired as a colonel in 2012 after 30 years and became a credentialed leadership coach at that stage. He joined our team way back when. In fact, we're going to ask him. But let me tell you, John has been a decorated member of our family, of our team here at Focus.com almost since inception. He's a great guy. So without further ado, why don't I just introduce my boy, John Moore. John, how are you, buddy?
I'm doing great, Carl. Good day so far. Good start to a Monday.
You beauty. That's what I want to hear. Hey, so for everybody listening, you have a decorated career in service. By the way, thank you for your service, John, on behalf of myself and everybody here. But tell us, how long have you been with us at Focus.com?
I joined in August of 2013, Carl, so a little over 10 years now.
Boom. There we go. And you've also done some very impressive, and you've been a client the entire way through, correct? It's not like a stop-start. You've been a client for...
No, I'm nonstop.
Nonstop. Love it. And you've also done some impressive numbers. What would be, for those, and again, goal here is not to pat John on the back, but to inspire you guys who are listening. John, what's your highest grossing year?
I hit 410. That's my best year.
Beautiful. 410,000. Bingo. Bango.
Yeah, not $410.
Yeah.
410,000.
So I'm glad you cleared that up because somebody listening is struggling. Yeah. What the heck? Why are we celebrating this? Okay, beautiful. And by the way, I wanted to thanks for coming to Business Coaching Mastery. It's never the same without you. I think we lost you. We didn't have you last year, but you've made almost like you were at the very first Business Coaching Mastery when we did it in the nightclub.
Yeah, you remember we were all singing around the piano with Peter.
That's it. Betty and the, what is it? Benny and the Jets. Is that it?
Yes.
I love
yes,
it.
I've made 7 of 8.
Nice. All right. Well, look, let's get straight into it. Okay, so you joined a long time ago. How about a lead-in question of what are a few things that you wish someone would have told you when you first got rocking in 2013? What would your answer to that be?
It's not so much what people didn't tell me, it's what I didn't pay attention to. And I would say the first thing is you have got a tremendous group of fellow coaches and partners and support team here. Rely on them. So I guess take advantage of that. So back then, we had the ask the expert call. We had you, we had Adrian, we had other great people to call upon. And I'm kind of the person that always wants to go it alone. Well, if I had not gone and if I had been less stubborn and reached out more consistently to my fellow coaches that I met at that first conference and the team there at Focused, I would have had that $410,000 a year far sooner than I did.
Yeah.
So trust the team, partner, ask for help. I don't remember when we started the Facebook page, but that Facebook page is phenomenal. And that's a great place to start asking for help.
Beautiful. And I would agree with that, by the way. Again, you've got to lean, on others that have been before you. Remember, and for those listening, again, I've said this thousands of times, but like your ideal coaching client is you 5 years ago. And then an ideal mentor is you in 5 years, right? And by the way, 10 year, you could debatably say 10 years. But again, that's possibly getting a little bit on the beginner side and maybe a little bit too far ahead of where you're currently at. But again, that could also be a home run. But ultimately, your ideal client is you 5 years ago. So thinking about that. Tell me this, John. How, again, you've been here a long time. What's changed the most about your business relationship with Focus? It hasn't always been Focus.com, right? Like when you got started way back when, what's changed the most about your business relationship with us? I'm curious.
Well, the first thing that comes to my mind, Carl, is I'm constantly communicating with our other coaches, constantly, whether it's on a Facebook page, WhatsApp. If I hit any kind of stumbling block, I throw a question out there on our Facebook page, and so that's one thing. The second thing is some of the resources that are now available to us are phenomenal. So I decided to go completely through onboarding again. And I can't tell you. So Mickey talked about how, she's finished role play call number 1. That practice with our peers. Our peers run those roll call plays and they have got it down, and they're hard clients once you get to the second and third role play. So I would just say the biggest thing that's changed is I've become aware of all the resources that are out there for us as coaches, and I'm taking advantage of them. I'm learning, I'm gaining confidence every single day.
Nice. What's okay, so that was which by the way, thanks for the props, by the way, John, got to say that. But that being said, so what's changed the most about your coaching company and your own professional / personal coaching capabilities and effectiveness over that same time period? Like what, like how have you evolved? That's how your business relationship with us and the way you're using the resources, how have you evolved?
From the very first conference, I'm a natural networker. Yeah. I can generate leads all day long. I can walk up to anybody and strike up a conversation and actually have a good bond within about 3 minutes. But what I couldn't do early on was close clients and make those conversions.
Yep.
And so I would say what's evolved about my business is I've got my own market dominating position. I've got my own offer stack. And I truly feel like I can make an offer to any business owner that they would be a fool not to accept. I've learned how to do risk reversal. I've learned how to lead them through the buyer's journey and do that very effectively. So I'd say the biggest growth in me as a business coach is the ability to convert. In terms of, offering services and fulfilling my commitments, I've always done that very well, and that's one of the reasons that I've been successful. People tend to stay with me. I would say somewhere between 50 and 60% of my clients have never left. Those that have left, I mean, they've done so for various reasons, but I just the manner in which, I mean, I strive to be very conscientious and to make my, to make sure I'm there on time for appointments or online on time for appointments. And if I make a commitment to a client, I fulfill that commitment. And I'll say that's one thing that I love about the PAS is the coach's notes. I can go back before I talk to a client now and look at what are the commitments that the client made to me, what commitments did I make to the client, and make sure that I've actually made those commitments before our next call. So learn to convert prospective clients much better, and that has a lot to do with using the resources like the profit acceleration software.
Beautiful. Okay, so let me go. I want to go deeper on that. So two things. One, just give us one golden nugget. Like what I would say. Okay, so I want to understand. I want a golden nugget from you on conversion, and then a golden nugget on fulfillment. Because again, there's not many coaches that can say, close to, over 50% of their clients stay with them like literally ongoing. And I know that to be true. Like you've had clients for like what feels like forever. So and by the way, conversion, what I would say if you asked me that, it would be selling money at a discount, right? So let's just say hypothetically, you're $2,000 a month, 24 grand a year. In my head, what I've got to frame up is that they're going to earn $48,000 as a result of being coached by me or been guided by me, mentored by me. And then really all I got to convince them is that they're going to spend 24 and they're going to get 48,000 back, even if everything goes wrong. Right. So, and if they don't agree to it, when I ask for the credit card number, the paperwork signed, really what's happened is I haven't convinced them of that. I haven't convinced them of that number of $48,000. So I would say money at a discount. What would your answer to that be? And then I want to follow it up with what's your magical pill on fulfillment?
So in terms of inspiring the client to give that credit card number or to contract with me, making sure that I help them be crystal clear on what they want to accomplish and why. And one of my takeaways from the conference was lifestyle, stress reduction, quality of life. It's hard to monetize that. So why is it that you want to build $1 million business? I want to be able to travel. I want to be able to take my grandchildren overseas with me. I want to travel with my adult children and take them to nice places. They can't afford to do that, but man, I'd love to have a family cruise. And you just keep taking them back to that why. And so if they're objecting, it's either because you haven't convinced them or you haven't kept coming back to that why. So in terms of being convincing, as you go through the profit acceleration software, always make sure that the growth estimates are conservative. Always make sure that the areas that you choose to focus on with that particular client, whether it be increasing leads, downselling, cross-selling, upselling, market dominating position, compelling offer, that it's something that they buy into. They've got to ultimately own the things that they're going to do in order for them to do the work. So I can give them ideas and suggestions and tell them what they ought to do based upon what I know, but really it's drawing those areas out of them. And so being realistic about being actually very conservative about the percentage and growth and very realistic about the things they can do to focus on those 2, 3, or 4 areas. And then the graphs speak for themselves. And if you just go to the graph, say, look, with a good market dominating position or a compelling offer or raising your prices slightly, look what you can do in a very short period of time. And if you do that in a very short period of time, you want to take your family on a cruise and pay for it yourself next year, it's going to happen as long as you do the work.
Yeah. So I just want to make sure. So you are intentionally what you just said. And by the way, folks, those who aren't clients of ours, he's referring to, we have obviously we have software, and then we have what's called the Jumpstart 12, and he's basically just listing off the 12 areas in the Jumpstart 12. But what you're doing is you are intentionally conservative when you're sitting with a business owner. So you say, like, how much do you think if we manage to come up with a market dominating position, or an upsell, a downsell, a cross sell, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, what kind of impact could that have in your business? And then they say 25%, 30%, you immediately water it down to about 5% so that it's uber conservative. So when it comes time to close them, it's like, look, with these really, really conservative numbers, look how exciting your gross revenues and your profits are over the next 12 months. That's fundamentally the approach that you're taking.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, even with a 5% increase in 3, 4, 5 areas, it's pretty remarkable. I just finished working with a woman that organizes not only people's closets, but their entire home. Last year, she made $65K gross. And so we worked on 3 areas, and she's going to come close to doubling that by the end of this year. And I think it floors them. The idea of compounding effects or exponential growth, it just amazes them how quickly they can grow.
Yeah. So you said something really important there. So you met a business owner who did $65,000 gross last year.
Yes.
Not profit, that's gross. And you took them on as a client, and you've guided her to basically doubling her current revenues.
She'll double that by December 31st. And we haven't run her numbers yet, so I couldn't say accurately what her gross and net profit percentages will be, but they will be much better.
Yeah, I love it. So again, folks, when you sit with somebody and you think that they're too small, I remember sitting with a gal. This was a bit of a story that I used to tell this is like years, this is 2005, whenever that was, a long time ago. But anyways, I sat with somebody. I remember she was a stay-at-home mom, right? So dad was out working, and she was just kind of building her little business at home. And she did $6,000 the entire 12 months before I got there. And I signed her on to a $10,000 coaching program, and her gross revenues were $6,000, right? So again, just want to make sure everybody listening understands that, part of the job, getting from 0 to 65,000 is significantly harder than 65,000 to 200,000. Significantly. Think of an airplane. The airplane is on the tarmac. It takes an insane amount of energy just to get that first inch. But once you get that first inch, the rest can be not so, I don't want to say smooth sailing, but certainly when you get to 10,000 feet, my 10-year-old daughter could fly the plane. But getting up there can be very, very challenging. And, that, organizer, the business of, they do organizing of people's closets and houses, etc. So you'd be surprised. But okay, cool. So hang on. Did you give me this? So I want to hear a magic pill for fulfillment, and why, like that client that you're helping now, I'm going to guess in 5 years when we circle back, she'll continue to have paid you. What's your secret sauce on fulfillment? Why do you keep clients for so long?
Yeah, I offer to help. So, in terms of a compelling offer, well, actually, where she really grew is in bundling. So
Yep.
sitting there and brainstorming how to bundle with her. So now she not only organizes homes, she cleans homes. She helps people unpack when they move. So, helping her come up with a compelling offer that increases, her clients' perceived value of the services she offers. So, the golden nugget is I'm her teammate, I'm her partner. Hey, send me a Word doc that describes, how you're going to bundle these services, what your compelling offer is, and how you're going to increase the perceived value of your services on the part of your client. So, I think the magic pill is being able to help them. And the other great thing about this entire team is if I don't know how to help them, there are partner coaches out there with Focus that can help them. We've got Doug Hoffman as an accountant. We've got all kinds of, we've got social media experts. I'm not a social media expert, but I know 5 coaches who are.
Yeah. So you lean on the community.
Lean on the community and provide help. Yeah. And there's some help I'll provide, with that $25,000 a year contract without asking for other or additional fees, because it doesn't take me a lot of time. It doesn't take me a lot of resource effort. And then there's some that I'll upcharge for. Hey, would you like some help creating a Facebook ad? She gets her business on an app called Thumbtack, which I just discovered. And so working with her to help her Thumbtack ad or offer to be, to hit the hot buttons.
So sorry, keep going. Keep going. I want to hear that.
When I've moved 29 times in my life, and I just moved not long ago. I still have boxes that I haven't unpacked. I think a great cotton button will be: are you sick and tired of boxes sitting around the spare bedroom for a year after you've moved? How would it be if I could ensure everything was unboxed and put in their place? So that's kind of the stuff we're brainstorming. But I guess I would just say, also helping with brainstorming ideas.
Yeah. So the bottom line, though, what you're doing. So the way I describe coaching is initially I got to establish the little red arrow. You are here. Okay. So you realize, again, she's getting a bunch of ads or a bunch of leads off of Thumbtack. There's some other stuff that she's doing. You establish the little red arrow. You are here. For anybody who doesn't know that, okay, just picture you're skiing you've never been skiing to this particular mountain before. You get to the top and you're a little bit lost as to where to go to get back to the lodge. Well, when you look at that map, the most important point on it by 100 miles is the little red arrow that says you are here. Because without that, you're just going to continue to be completely lost, right? So establish the little red arrow, you are here, and then you establish what it is that she wants, right? Like, again, you got 5 kids under the age of 10, probably going to be a slightly different roadmap than somebody who's, their kids are grown up, what have you. But you establish those 2 points. Little red area, you are here. What is it that she or he, as the case would be, wants? And then coaching is basically from here to there. And all you're really doing is following the Jumpstart 12 strategies in small incremental ways where you help them in multiple areas so you get to multiply instead of add the returns. So you get a compounding effect. Have I done a good job encapsulating what it is that you're doing with that gap and others?
Yep, absolutely. Here, I am here, and this is where I want to be. But I would just add that asking a question: what's so important about that there to you? What's so important about getting to where you want to be?
Yeah. Okay. You pull out a why. Out a why.
Absolutely.
Right? Which almost, and if you go 7 layers deep, folks, again, you'll always get to freedom. But again, the way that John defines freedom and the way that I define freedom, and then somebody else defines freedom, the way that you define freedom will be slightly different. That's the magic. But ultimately, it's not it's not the money, it's what the money represents, right? It's not the car, it's what the car represents. It's not the business, it's what the business represents. It's not the status, it's what the status represents, right? Okay, so what about, so now we're going, look, any other strategies / tactics that have helped you kind of crush it to the tune of doing hundreds of thousands of dollars a year comfortably as a business coach?
In terms of lead generation, I mean, I always used to laugh at these ad Valpaks that would come to my house.
Yeah.
And I started looking at them, and there wasn't one single, headline or subheadline or hot button in there. It was basically a business card they pay a lot of money for to get mailed every month. So I started calling guys, and I'd say, "Hey, my name's John Moore, and I saw your carpet cleaning flyer in my Valpak. Oh, you did? I said, yeah. I said, do you know how many leads or clients you get off of these? No, I really don't. Why not? I said, why not? Do you ask prospective customers or customers that come to you and spend money how they learned about you? No. Well, how do you know you're getting a return on the investment? And I say, would you like to hear my opinion on that ad? Oh, sure. I said, it's not going to get anybody's attention, but I'd be happy to tell you how to change it at no cost so that it would get somebody's attention. I'm a business coach, and they may not become clients, but now I've had a good conversation, and I'll keep coming back to them. What was it? How many times? I can't remember. How many times do you have to touch a prospective client before they decide to buy in the buyer's journey?
Yeah, they said for years it's 7, but then I've heard of it's like it's risen because of the crazy amount of marketing coming at us. It's something like 22 now, but yes, kind of.
But in that, so I mean that's a tactic, but in that short conversation, I've created a relationship.
Yeah. I love it. So, okay. So you, and again, folks, humility is a superpower. Okay. So again, John, you've been hundreds, like again, what was it? $410,000 in a year. And you were opening up the mailbox, opening up Valpak, and then cold calling the carpet cleaner that is advertising in your neighborhood, calling them and offering to help for free. Sometimes he buys, more than often he obviously does not. But that's how you get more clients, right there, right?
Yeah, I mean, I speak at BNIs, and I speak, like the Rotary Club, the Lions Club, uh,
Yep.
and then live events. Live events are the greatest conversion opportunities out there.
Yeah, love it. Okay, so like you and I, obviously we've had many of kind of quiet one-to-one chats, right? You've had to overcome some significant obstacles. Tell us a little bit about the last 10 years, and you've managed to keep everything on the rails. Tell us about the last 10 years and some of your challenges.
Yeah, well, I've had a couple bouts with cancer. I had an abdominal tumor that laid me low for about 5 months. Very fortunate to come out of that okay. Um, I feel great, and that's stayed in remission. And then I've had a couple of instances of melanoma or malignant skin cancer. Fortunately, it scared me, but it had not metastasized to the lymph system. The TBI or traumatic brain injury has had an effect on my memory, and periodically get some involuntary tremors. So, I guess more than anything, it's added. Those health issues have added some stress to my life. I will say that our community of coaches and the business coaching mastery conferences have helped me tremendously. So, our coach of the year, Amanda Biddle,
Yeah.
she and I have had a great conversation after that, because she also beat down cancer. And,
Yep.
we've had conversation about healthy lifestyle, and it's inspired me. So, I mean, getting knocked down, the challenge and the joy and the adventure is in figuring out how to get back up. And for me, it goes right back to don't do it alone. And then I've had some family struggles. I had a daughter who was challenged with some emotional, psychological issues, and then went through a pretty nasty divorce. And again, it's easy to feel sorry for yourself. It's easy. One of my friends is Jameson's Irish whiskey. Well, I've had to give that up because it has a detrimental effect on your motivation and your mindset. And, so you can feel sorry for yourself, and you can numb that sorrow out a number of different ways. But you're hurting yourself. And I'll tell you, come out of that conference talking to a lot of people that have struggled in a lot of different areas. I'm like, hey, I'm not alone, and I can do this. So I would say that today I'm back up on my feet and I'm running faster than I've ever run before.
I love it. So, and by the way, we're so glad that you have come out the other side of health challenges and otherwise. But what I want them to hear is that, context is debatably everything, right? And like, they're, basically, you've been through the wars for the last decade. That would be what I think is an understatement, because again, I know John's story better than most. And let me tell you, you have been in the wars, but what you've managed to do is just keep showing up, mean what you say what you mean, just keep on keeping on, and you powered through. And I think what you did, the reason there's just there's a larger person, a larger purpose that is driving you. And by the way, I don't want to say that on your behalf. Would you agree with that? Is that true? You kept on keeping on, and you've had a bigger picture that you're moving towards, and just refused to get down on your, you know what I mean, to stop forward.
Absolutely. And, for me, I've got 4 beautiful daughters, 3 beautiful granddaughters, and probably more on the way. And what drives me is being an example that they will grab onto at some point in their lives, especially when they have adversity. And I tell my daughters, you're gonna face adversity, and you can either curl up and feel sorry for yourself in your bedroom, or you can get on your feet, look for the help you need, and keep moving forward. So I think, one, it's providing an example for my kids and ultimately my grandkids, and then it's leaving something behind. I really I'd love it if one of my daughters would take this business over and continue to grow it. I guess the third thing is I've always, one of the reasons I joined the Army was, goes back to freedom, but I have been driven my entire life, and I think it's because of the house I grew up in, to lead a life of service to others. So that third thing I would say that drives me is being able to look back on my life when I'm close to the end and say to myself, I was useful to a lot of people.
Yeah.
And help them build better lives.
Well, John, let me tell you and for everybody listening, you have been useful for me. So God bless you, bro.
Thank you. God bless you too, Carl.
So John, Kate, so look, let's okay, I want you to talk to your former self, and again, feel free to, have it as a new coach. And I don't want to go all the way back to, way back when you got going with us, like 2013. I want to talk can you have a conversation with yourself 5 years ago and say, what would you tell him if you were given the chance?
Oh my gosh. Well, in a very short, concise sentence, it'd be pay attention to Adrian and Carl. It's trust the process. It took me a little while to learn that the process that's laid out for us as business coaches, it works. So learn what you need to learn, follow the scripts, adapt them so that they're more personal, but in general the principles are immutable and they work. And follow the process. Pick a couple of strategy, or pick one or two strategies and 3 or 4 tactics to generate clients, and stick to them, become good at them. Get to the point where this rolls off your tongue. Your elevator pitch, but and believe in it. And you really can't believe in it until you've practiced it and succeeded in generating leads, converting leads to clients, and actually fulfilling your commitments to those clients in a way that helps them achieve those revenue goals. So I would say the first thing I'd tell myself is pay attention, learn what you need to learn, and trust the process that you're taught.
Love it. Love it. Love it.
Yeah,
So,
because I'm stubborn. I'm a stubborn, rogue, loner, airborne ranger kind of guy. And I didn't know what the hell I was doing or talking about back then. Yeah, I just learn, and then apply.
by the way, John, humility is a superpower, and you
Yes,
ooze, right?
yes.
But that's good. But could I say so? Okay, in the times when you weren't doing that, was it that you got stuck in your head and you were overthinking everything? Instead of making the moves, you were thinking about making the moves, and then effectively probably didn't make the moves.
Yeah. So yes, I'm a perfectionist, so I'm afraid of failure, and I had to get over that, and it took me a while. So yeah, just being stuck, not making the moves because I don't want to screw this up. I don't want to, fail in my commitment. I don't want to be rejected. Fear of rejection. Hey, we should dive into rejection every day, but that's absolutely what it was.
Yeah. I love it. So the bottom line, though, just keep on, keep on keeping on, and again, a coach that is listening right now, somewhat new to it, and they're thinking to themselves, can I legitimately make a couple $100 grand a year? Could I legitimately do it? And could I go to Mexico and have that 1 week holiday and do my coaching calls while I'm walking along the beach? Or, could I move to the Caribbean, or could I move and, live in a remote place and use, Elon Musk, magical internet connection? You know what I mean? But bottom line is, look, this works if you work it. As in, and not so. I don't want this to be an advertisement for what we're doing. Just as a business coach trying to get cranking, you've lived it, correct, John? Where you've made hundreds of thousands of dollars a year, got to watch your kids grow up, get to watch your grandkids grow up, jump in a plane and come with us to Mexico, and you've lived that lifestyle for a long time, correct?
Yes.
Yeah, I love it. So there you go, folks. It can be there for you. I'll tell you what. So, John, that brings us towards the end here. Any last final words for our fine folks before we let them go?
Yeah, I would just say that everybody on this call, everybody that aspires to be a business coach, when you think about a $200,000 a year early on in your coaching career, break it down into number of clients times number of months. And so $2,500 a month from a client is it's reasonable and it's fair. You could do better than that once you get great at what you do, but then just multiply that times the number of months, and it doesn't take many clients times many months to hit $200,000.
Yeah.
So just break it down into small increments, incremental gains, incremental growth. At the end of the year, you shot yourself.
So, like a goal, I say this, like a goal is something you can see. A target is something you can hit. I think what you just said, set some targets for yourself, correct?
Yep. Yeah, you just wake up one morning and say, I want to make $500,000 this year. It's kind of pie in the sky. You got to break it down and turn it into targets, and then hit those targets every day.
I love it. Well, there we go, John, and I could not agree with that advice anymore. Awesome stuff. So, John, we appreciate you. You're a champion. We appreciate you being around for so very, very long, and we're going to be here, and you're going to be there. We're going to be working together for a long time to come. So, I appreciate you showing up for this. I appreciate you showing up on behalf of those that are listening in our audience. And God bless you, my brother. Love you, man.
Carl Bryan built Profit Acceleration Software 2.0 to train business coaches how to find any small business owner more than $100,000 in 45 minutes without them spending an extra dollar on marketing or advertising. This becomes a business coach's superpower. So as a business coach, you'll never again have to worry about working with business owners that can't afford your high-end coaching fees. Check us out at focused.com.